Hi, everybody. I'm here with Brad Clarke, and we're talking recruiter enablement. So, Brad, thanks for joining me today. Great to see you again, and give us a quick introduction to you.
Sure. So I'm Brad. I'm the director of talent acquisition at Article. Article is a online direct-to-consumer modern furniture company. So we work in North America, and so I'm the head of talent acquisition for them.
Cool. Okay, so recruiter enablement. Just give us a broad overview. Like, how do you think about an article?
Yeah. So I look at a recruiter enablement as all of the processes and tooling I can do to enable my team to succeed and get out of their way so they can work closer to candidates and closer to hiring managers. So this can be everything from our tooling, our messaging, anything kind of foundational to them to allow them to succeed. That's when I look at recruitment enablement.
Yeah. Okay. I know that you've done some good things over at Article, but there's something specific which you've done that we haven't talked to anybody about. Out of the 120 plus interviews that I've done with people on this subject, and that's to do with capacity planning, like capacity building for the
Yeah.
team. Give us an overview of what's this all about.
So I guess I'll back up and share a bit of history here and to say why we had to do this, and that'll explain what we did. But we went through a riff, like a layoff, and this was in summer 2022. My team was 22 people. We went down to a quarter of the size, and so like a lot of other TA teams, we got hit pretty hard. So we did the math and figured out, hey, per recruiter I can hire about this many roles, and the team size should be okay to serve the business. However, what I didn't anticipate was the fact that, and it was pretty naive of me, but hiring is not linear and it goes through huge spikes. And so, we just kind of got through the riff, got settled, and we got hammered. We got hammered with a ton of requisitions, to the point that like there's no chance the team could work on all these. And so reality was is we need to figure out like what our capacity was. And I think I was refusing to do just, hey, post and pray. So that just leads to a ton of problems. And so we had to figure out what this looks like. And so we looked at kind of like we deliver furniture. Our furniture comes in boxes. Said, hey, if I was going to ask one of the drivers, hey, how many boxes can you fit in the truck? They would say it depends. Like, what does it depend on? Well, if a sofa is a certain size, a table is a certain size, so it depends on how. So that capacity of that truck depends on the size of the box. And so the same thing happens for TA. And so typically my thought process is each recruiter should work on about 10 recs. That seems pretty manageable. However, the reality is working on, say, 10 warehouse rules isn't the same as working on 10 driver rules. And rarely do you have just that. You have a mix of different ones, or if you're all in the same location, or for different locations, different managers. So there's complexity there. Some of those box sizes. And so, sofa is in the same size as a bed, it's in the same size. So we realized we needed to build a tool which limited the number of recs that we could work on, built it and would build a backlog. So once we had open capacity, we could work on those. And so we started realizing is I looked around and I couldn't find anything within the TA industry, anyone have built something and done something. And so I realized someone else has had to solve this problem. And where can I get some inspiration from? Generally, I try to look outside of our area for these kind of problems, because I think there's smarter people than me. And so one of the things that we came across was, I thought of, agile software development. And you would never ask a developer to work on 100 new features at once. They would just say,
Yeah.
no, we're going to work on, we've got capacity for 10, and we'll do 10 at 100%, and then we'll do the next 10 and so forth. So the batching made sense. But beyond that, how do they understand what the size and complexity of the features are? And I learned this idea called t-shirt sizing. And so software engineering teams estimate how long a feature will take, and they use the term t-shirt size.
Yeah.
The thing is, and so it's interesting. So they'll say, yeah, that's a medium feature, should take average size. That's a medium-sized t-shirt.
Yeah.
That's a large, extra large, small. But the t-shirt sizing wasn't done by the manager, wasn't done by the person they're building for. It was done by the team. The team led the t-shirt sizing. So they had autonomy on saying how hard it was.
Yeah.
So we took this model and said, okay, let's build a Google Sheet out, and we'll have a ticketing system come in. So anytime someone wants to work on a new requisition, they put a ticket in, populates a Google Sheet. That's pretty easy to do. And then from there, when we have capacity, whoever it was working on will assign a t-shirt size to this, and there's a numerical value to this. So we do size small is 0.5. a medium is a 1, a large is 1.5, extra large is a 2, with the idea there's a base of 10 units of work per recruiter. So a recruiter can work on 10 average size roles, so 10 mediums, but you can't work on 10 extra large. Now, the unit of work can depend based on different things. And so it's not just, it can be on that location and that job market. It can be on how that hiring manager, are they easy to work with? What's their abilities as a manager? It can be the skill level of the recruitment. Let's say it's something they haven't worked on in the past. It's going to be harder for them. It might be a medium for one person, but it could be a large for them. So, and there's no negativity to if whatever that looks like. Usually you classify whatever size you think it's going to be, and you can reclassify too. And so, this could look at things like applicant flow versus headhunting, et cetera. And so you might think this is going to be great. We might get a ton of viable candidates, but realize, no, it's going to take a ton of headhunting. And midway through the process, you ratchet that from a medium to an extra large because the market changed. And so what this does is this then creates an easy way for my team to say no. Because recruiters like making people happy. We love making people happy. It's who we are as people. We love solve problems, like making people be happy, and we're bad at saying no. We're just bad. Oh no, just okay, yeah, it's okay. We'll let one more. We'll post one more job. We'll look at it later. And so it was interesting. So we did this, and it took some convincing, into the business, but they got it pretty quick. And so what we found though was we were hiring faster. So by saying no, we actually were hiring faster.
Yeah.
So by not posting, candidates weren't going stale. We're getting better closing rates. We had more time to actually work on the rec. So as a result of this, hiring managers got better feedback. Candidates, resumes weren't going stale. We're getting fresh candidates and moving really quick. And so our candidate score, so the ATS we use has an NPS score for candidates. Our candidate score jumped up. Our time for hire jumped up. Hiring managers were happy. And so all these things, by saying no, backlogging all these things, has led to this ongoing. And so as a result, like, our capacity is fixed, but there's a variability based on the complexity to it. And the more I started thinking about this, it really, I think this is, when we talk about recruitment enablement, this is pretty like fundamental and foundational to everything else you build. It's not sexy, it's not cool, but without it, you look at this, because I talk to other TA leaders, and and they look at, like, oh, my team doesn't have enough time, they're swamped, they're burning out, candidates are ghosting them, hiring managers are frustrated, they're having to use agencies all the time. All these symptoms, I look at this, I go, you just, you put too much on your team, they can't do this. And so they're just doing surface level recruitment, making no one happy. Candidates aren't happy, hiring managers are happy, no one's happy, but you say yes to it, and you keep perpetuating this. And so this is why I really fundamentally believe this capacity planning is the thing. It's, again, not cool, but we need to talk about more as an industry.
I mean, you're right. Like, there's so many things you've just said that I'm like, oh yeah, that's a good
Sorry,
point.
I get on my soapbox.
No.
That's too much of a rant there. So
no, not at all. There's so many things you've just said that I'm thinking, gosh, yes, I'm not sure. Like, there's several things you said that I probably, like, when you say it, I'm like, yeah, I get that, but they've never come to me consciously. So, recruiters have a problem saying no. I agree with that. They're typically very positive people. They're people pleasers. They love chasing the conversation with the candidate, which is, hey, I've got news for you. You've got the job, and then chasing the hiring manager. Hey, I've got news for you. Candidate says yes. That's just like full of endorphins when that happens. So that's a really important one. Like, as a manager, it gives you considerably better insight into, like, what your team is capable of doing, how you should be thinking about the different recs you're working on. This concept of t-shirt sizing is one which has reminded me that there is so much misunderstanding and disagreement in recruitment between recruiters who don't actually understand what life's like doing each other's jobs. Because if you've never worked on tech hiring and somebody tells you they fill 4 software developer jobs, typically in a month, like, other recruiters might be thinking, what the hell are you doing for the rest of your 20 days, a month?
Sure.
That type of thing, because they just don't understand, what it's like in each other's shoes, because uh, recruitment is just so varied. And you said about, like, I'd never thought about the difference between hiring a driver and hiring a warehouse person. Because I don't have a lot of experience in the blue collar world, but I would see them as like both maybe a t-shirt size of a small, but they're not, of course. A driver is much harder to fill than a
Yeah,
warehouse person, I guess.
considerably. And you know, and us specifically, like our drivers are customer facing. So
Yeah,
hiring someone who can not only drive a truck, can move some furniture, and can be customer facing and represent our brand. It's like the, you know, the
triple threat.
triple crown. It's so hard. And so it's interesting that way. The, you know, I look at this, and you know, for us, one of the biggest drivers is we're a consumer brand. And you know, I was having a conversation a couple weeks ago with a bunch of TA leaders, and they said, you mean you say no to managers and your team doesn't post things? I said, yeah. Like, oh, and I said, yeah, but we're a consumer brand. If we have candidates who don't hear from us, not only did we like make a candidate upset, we've actually lost a customer. Like, and that's big. And it's not just, you know, if you, oh, I applied that job, never heard back, or I had a bad experience, or I interviewed and they ghosted me. You don't just tell one person that. Like, you tell everyone we have a bad experience with a consumer brand. And so you're there rather than, you know, amplifying that brand in a positive way, saying, hey, I had a good interview, I met these people, regardless of the outcome, you know, they got back, let me know what's happening. Instead, you know, you're there trashing the brand, and then you've lost customers as a result of this.
Yeah, I mean, that's another one you said that I just think it's a very, very good point. So if you're actually doing less to do more, to achieve more, so, you know, taking on saying no more to actually get more accomplished, and accomplished in a way that people are going to enjoy the experience better. And so, and your net promoter score has gone up as well, I think you said.
Yeah, net promoter score went up, which was yeah. So I mean, it was. I mean, I expected, you know, hey, we're getting slammed. The team's smaller. Like, these things are gonna plummet. But this really turned things around, so to speak, with us. And so yeah, I mean, anyone who just, whether it's just a simple, you know, limit on the number we actually have, or if you do something a bit more complex like we have with some variability, it takes a while to get managers there. But when they're there and they see the results, and your team feels better about things, and they feel like they've got control over this, and they've got autonomy to make these decisions. It changes things. It really makes a profound change, so to speak.
You know, I also think part of this, like we're not good at saying no in recruitment, is we I think we suffer from a little bit of a self-esteem issue compared to other functions. Like, you're not going to you're not in any medium to large company, you're not going to contact IT and expect them to drop everything and fix your problem. You're not going to contact finance and expect, or payroll or whatever, and expect them to drop everything and fix your problem. You know it's going to take a bit of time for you to get, you know, to get resolution on things. Whereas in recruiting, we typically go, "Yeah, I better drop everything and deal with that, and then deal with that." We're like just constantly firefighting. So, you know,
Constantly.
the solution you put in place is great.
Yeah, I hope to see more people adopt something similar. Like, I think there's a lot of value here. Just it's to start with saying no. Say no, and just wait till you post. Wait till you have capacity and time, then you can figure out and build a tool around it to make it a little easier for you.
Yeah. Well, look, great, Brad. I'm looking forward to finding out actually if lots of people are already doing this and we just don't know about it because it's
It
not,
could
as
be.
you said,
Yeah.
very sexy. And so, you know, it might be lots of people are doing things about it. But I really appreciate you for coming on the show and for broadcasting it and amplifying the issue, because yeah, more people need to know about it. And if you're not doing anything like this, then hopefully Brad's given you some inspiration here. So Brad, thanks very much for joining me today. It's been good to see you again.
Adam, I appreciate it. Thank you.